images in the following program are highly sensitive and may be as disturbing to viewers as they were to us. However, we have to show the truth about cruelty to animals, praying that you will help to stop it.
This is the Stop Animal Cruelty series on Supreme Master Television, presenting the conclusion of a two-part episode about the merciless brutality of the Canadian seal hunt.
If you ever wonder if hell exists, just go into those massacre house or the boat that kills the whales and go to the seals massacring areas. Go there to find hell. Then you believe that hell will exist. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible how we behave as humans. It's unimaginable. The more we do research into all these animals' treatment, the more we cannot imagine how we as a human race behaving in such a way. My God. Oh my God. We must change. We must change fast. We can't live like this. We can't. We just can't go on like this. It's just... It's just killing our hearts.
The yearly seal hunt season for harp and hooded seals begins November 15th and ends May 15th. The majority of the seal murdering occurs between March and April. In March, the focus is the Gulf of St. Lawrence around the Magdalen Islands and Prince Edward Island. A month later, the carnage shifts to the waters northeast of the province of Newfoundland. Today, Ian Robichaud, the founder of harpseals.org, will continue to discuss the violent slaughter of baby seals, many of whom are a mere 3 weeks old when they die. Harpseals.org seeks to raise awareness about the atrocities committed by the seal industry. Since 2006, Supreme Master Ching Hai has provided the courageous group with donations totaling $30,000 US to further its mission. We asked Mr. Robichaud about the skinning process for pelts.
So once the seal has been murdered, do they move them to where they're skinned? Do they skin them right there, or do they move them to the boat?
A lot of times, they ideally want to skin them right there. If they get out of their boat, or if they find like a little pod, a little nest of seals, they might find a little grouping of 20 or 30 of the baby seals. And these babies have reactions. Some of them run, some of them will actually come toward a sealer and they can't do anything. Some of them will just hide there. Well, they don't run, but they crawl away on the ice. So what the sealers do is sometimes, and this is really brutal, they'll go in with that hack-a-pick, and because they don't want the seals to go over the edges and maybe into little places where they won't be able to find them, they'll just whack them over the head, as many as they can, to stun them. So they'll whack them over the head, 1 or 2 whacks, 20 or 30 seals at one time. It's one of the most horrific things you could possibly see. 2 sealers sometimes come into a pack of 40 seals, and they'll just smash them on the head to make sure nothing is moving. And then a lot of these seals, of course, they're not dead after 1 or 2 whacks. And then they come back and they'll skin them. But if it's just 1 seal, they're going to whack it and skin it right there, right then and there.
So the baby might not even be dead when they skin it.
A good portion of the time, they're actually not dead. The sealers themselves are required by ridiculous animal welfare laws, humanity laws, if you will. They're supposed to make sure that the seals are actually dead. They're supposed to do this ridiculous thing called an eye blink test, where they're supposed to be able to put their finger on the eye of a seal, and if it doesn't blink, that means it's dead. But in fact, more than 40%, these seals are in fact alive when they're actually skinned. There was actually a study conducted by IFAW. These scientists went into the piles of dead seals after the sealers had been there. In other words, they just leave those seals right on the ice. And what they did was they looked at the craniums, the skulls of these seals, and they looked for fracture marks. And they determined that 43% hadn't even shown any cranial fractures. So therefore, they basically were, in fact, skinned alive. Not only that, but there's been many, many videos clearly showing seals being skinned while they're still moving around. It's something that the sealers almost seem to enjoy. It's a bizarre spectacle of violence, and it's hard to imagine. It really, really is hard for anybody to imagine a pet dog, your family cat, you know, being skinned literally right there, and someone sort of smiling and laughing as they're doing it.
So they no longer feel any compassion for the animal.
They're so desensitized by this stuff. They're so desensitized. There's been a few books written by people about the sealers and about what makes them get into it. A lot of these sealers get into it because their family did, because their daddy was a sealer, or their brother was a sealer before them. But what I had heard from the book that I read, but it was written by a sealer, it was called Over the Side Mickey. He was actually describing the very first time that he killed a seal. He found it horrible. It was horrible to do. How do people kill animals in slaughterhouses? It's the same thing. It's a desensitized brain thing. I don't get it. I could never do it. I don't understand it, but they literally do not feel any empathy or sympathy whatsoever for the seals.
How is the baby seal skinned?
With a sharp knife, and they do with a few cuts. It takes about 30 seconds to skin a harp seal. What's so brutal is that a lot of times, again, they'll stun the seal, then they make some very crucial cuts around the flippers, and they literally tear that skin right off. And a lot of times, the body is still twitching. I mean, it's brutal. I'm not trying to gross you out by saying, but literally the body is twitching. It's just literally had its skin ripped right off before it's dead. Some of them are dead, again, depends on how many times they whack them. Less than 3% of the meat annually is taken, and on some years it's probably even less than that, because literally, yeah, once they skin it, they don't care. With some of the meat, it gets used for in the pet food industry.
The male harp seals are killed as well, and there's a market for their genitals?
There is a market. It's a black market. While the sealers are out there, if they happen to encounter a pod of males, the males kind of all gather in one spot. They're not usually mixed in with the females and the babies. They're usually kind of hanging out separately. But if a sealer encounters a male or a pod of males, they're not shy about killing them. There's no one to regulate this stuff. And of course, there's no mark. They just take that. A seal penis bone is like a bone, and then that's actually used for an aphrodisiac. Or it's similar to, say, the tiger bone or rhinoceros. It's used in Asian medicines.
Surely if people could see this massacre happening, the public would react. Is this not being filmed and shown to people? Or is there restrictions on filming?
Well, absolutely. And this is really the biggest obstacle that all anti-seal hunt organizations like ours face. And this is what this whole fight is really all about, because the sealers want to keep it out of sight, out of mind. There are major obstacles to filming. There are laws that make it illegal for people to film the seal hunt. You can only shoot a camera within a quarter mile from the seals. Then a couple years ago, it was within 30 meters. I've actually been assaulted by sealers who were walking toward me on the ice saying, and coming at me saying, you're within 30 meters, you're breaking our laws, while I had a camera rolling on them while they were doing their thing. But it's illegal. And I actually have been arrested on the ice for having a camera.
We know that celebrities such as Paul McCartney has been taken to the seal hunt and shown this. What effect has this had on people's awareness?
Celebrities are huge. We absolutely love celebrities. And looking into the camera, I can tell you right now, if you're a celebrity out there, we want you. We need you. Paul McCartney, awesome. The Humane Society of the United States had the opportunity to bring Paul up there. And they went on CNN, Larry King that night. That is absolutely huge. So even if you're not as big of a celebrity as Paul McCartney, we want you to please help us. Let's make you famous for helping the seals. You don't have to even volunteer for harpseals.org. You can do it for Sea Shepherd. You can do it for HSUS. I don't care. But get your celebrity name out there for the seals, because you will do a lot to actually stop the seal hunt.
What can the average individual do?
The average person can boycott Canadian seafood. How does that work? Why are we boycotting Canadian seafood? The reason that works is because all the sealers are actually fishermen 95% of the year, and 95% of their income is by fishing. A small fraction of the year, they go out and they kill these seals. So what we're doing is we're pressuring the entire Canadian seafood industry
to stop the seal kill.
To stop the seal. And so we tell people, boycott Canadian seafood. That way you're directly affecting the pocketbook of the actual guys who are going out there killing the seals. And eventually, those people are going to say, enough is enough.
Our deep gratitude, Ian Robichaud, harpseals.org, and other similar groups for standing up for the Canadian seals by reporting to the world how they are being sickeningly killed. We call on everyone across the planet to shun all animal products, including those from seals, like seal fur garments, seal meat, and seal oil, so the vicious seal industry and other industries that savagely exploit animals are shut down forever.
Hi there. My name is Jan Robichaud. I'm the founder of harpseals.org. You're watching Supreme Master Television. Be veg, go green to save the planet.
For more details on harpseals.org, please visit www.harpseals.org. Thank you for joining us for today's Stop Animal Cruelty program. Coming up next is enlightening entertainment after noteworthy news. May the precious seals and all other animals enjoy long and peaceful lives.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/stop-animal-cruelty.